Part of the reason I'm going to start with a little bit of personal history is because I want you to know that I'm coming at this from a point of gratitude for the experience that I had working at Mayo Clinic. You're going to hear me say some things that will not reflect well on Mayo Clinic. So I just want you to know that I was there for 21 years. I worked there, I appreciated it. I would not be able to do what we're doing today if I hadn't had that experience. So I do have, and they are an important resource for our community and for our country. But when I was working at Mayo Clinic, I started in the media relations team. I started in 2000, and I had kids that were in high school, and they told me about Facebook and stuff like that, and I got to say, wow, I knew from my marketing research at Mayo Clinic that for more than 150 years, the number one reason for people going to Mayo Clinic was word of mouth. And I recognized that, okay, social media, that's just word of mouth online. And so I got us into Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and as a side hustle, essentially, as part of my work with media relations, eventually made the proposal to say, we should lead in this at Mayo Clinic. This is part of our DNA, part of our history. And so I made the proposal to create the Mayo Clinic Center for Social Media. I got approval to not be on the media relations team anymore, but to have a separate team for this. As a result, a couple years after that, I was featured in Minnesota Monthly Magazine, where they named me one of Minnesota's revolutionaries. 12 people who are changing the way Minnesotans think about the future. And so I think I probably was number one on the list because they went in alphabetical order. I'm not going to claim that it was for any reason of importance or anything. And then one of the things we did, we created a global network called the Mayo Clinic Social Media Network. We published this book as a collection of essays, and kind of the whole point of it was trying to help others in healthcare be able to take advantage of these tools as well. The fact that Mayo Clinic was sort of in a leadership position gave some of them comfort that they could, if Mayo Clinic's doing this, maybe it's not as crazy as I think. I had the pleasure of being able to go to 12 countries on 5 continents and essentially evangelizing for Mayo Clinic, and also talking about sort of the history of Mayo Clinic, starting with the Mayo brothers Dr. Will Mayo went to 25 countries during his lifetime, networking, analog, okay, face-to-face with people to share information, and he did that by ship, by train and by ship. He died in 1939, okay? And so what was magical about these tools is it let us reach the world instantaneously. One of the initiatives we were involved in was colorectal cancer awareness and screening. Some of you remember Katie Couric's husband died of colorectal cancer. She got a colonoscopy on the air, and Harry Smith got a colonoscopy on the air just to raise awareness, demystify it, to say, this is a disease that can be prevented if you just catch it early, if you get screened. And so we got the idea, okay, maybe we could do, like, Periscope was the Twitter version of live streaming. We said we could do a live colonoscopy on the air. Not on the air, but just stream it. And as we were in this planning session, I knew that Mayo did 80 colonoscopies a day at the time. I said, surely we could get somebody to volunteer for this. And then I recognized I'm in the age group to do this. So it was my colonoscopy that we did on the air, okay? And I got on the Jumbotron in Times Square. They only wanted a 15-second clip. They wanted to make sure they weren't showing any of that. So somebody said, you put your you-know-what on the line for that, right? So I did. So that was my first revolution. My second revolution was my wife and I had 2 daughters that were getting married within about 10 weeks of each other. And I was working out 30 minutes a day, 6 days a week on the elliptical machine, trying to get to look better in that suit than I ended up looking. Okay, I lost about 5 pounds in 3 months. Okay, and afterwards, then Lisa, my wife, whose picture there, came to me and said, "So you want to go on a diet with me?" And she was kind of surprised that I said yes. But that led us to a journey that led to her 3 years later getting into her wedding dress for the first time in 36 years. And so if you zoom in on me a little bit, so just highlighting that, see the place where the water collects in the belly button, like that happening. a few years, about the same time as Lisa got into the wedding dress, this is me after having gone down to the basement to get 3 20-pound jugs of kitty litter to haul them upstairs to signify the amount of weight that I had lost. And I gotta tell you, I got kind of winded, doing that. But yet that's how much weight I was carrying around every step, every day, before that. So that's second revolution. This is the third revolution. The first revolution I kind of led, okay? The second revolution was a personal thing. This is a revolution that's been happening, this direct primary care revolution. And I'm excited that we have some of the OG pioneers in this with us today here. We're glad to be joining it because I didn't recognize that this was happening, but we'll get into a little story of how we got into this. So this is the direct primary care revolution. This is DPC Nation. If you go there, there's a map that shows all the direct primary care clinics. We're the little dot in Austin, right there, right now. We haven't got the dot for Rochester yet. We got to work on getting on that, but we're kind of it in this area.